So the second that you can start getting into problems is when, you know, someone whose profession is not making the music, you let influence you making your music. And then when it goes wrong, they'll just drop you. You know what I mean? It's like, it's on to the next one. You have to remember it's just business.
So Chipmunk, how you doing today, sir?
Good, man.
That's good.
Good.
Let's start off with the moment. Diddy
Yeah.
being on stage. Now for you, how did that rank in your career highlights, being on stage with Diddy, Skepta, Wretch, you know? How does that rate for you?
Me and Diddy's pretty cool. You know, I got Kalina of Diddy Dirty Money on my album.
Yeah.
So it's pretty dope. We obviously we did the track, so when they was here they reached out to me. And then we was just rolling, man. You know, it felt, watching, you know, in the midst of the moment, it was just normal for me because I know them. You know what I mean? But when I watched back, it felt good. You know, I made sure I introduced Wretch to him. You know, to the Kalina girls, just made sure that he knew that it was Wretch that he was fighting in the charts at the moment. You know, it was just beautiful, man. Right now, Wretch, like, words can't explain how I feel about his successes, man. So it was good.
In terms of Wretch, I mean, I know he's older than you, but
Yeah.
you've helped him out in terms of
Publicity
you
wise.
put him next to you.
Yeah, it felt, you know, the thing is with me and Wretch, he's from the estate down the road from me. So, like, he's seen me grow from little boy on a pedal bike, you know, to having, you know, on the route to success. You know, I see success as a journey, not a destination. So, you know, the amount of things Wretch has done for me, you know, I see him as like my mentor, you know, when it comes to lyrics wise and etc. But where we come from, and unless you get to see the wider world of music, it's very easy to just have your mind just fixed on, you know, what's in front of you. So, you know, I took Wretch out to LA with me for a week just to see my producers and how we was going about recording my album, etc. And that was like a big eye-opener, not even just for him, but for myself as well, in terms of where we need to go with the music, you know. So, but the beauty about Free 2 is that he's like your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. So to have him at number 5 in the UK charts is like, I think I'm happier than he is. Like, I'm gassed. Like, I'm at home like, bro, like, amen, like, Wretch. That means I was saying to him, because obviously things happened for me a bit quicker, but that was because I was able to adapt to the environments that I was put in. For instance, like, Wretch is the prime example of understanding that, you know, if number 1 by Tinchy and N-Dubs wasn't made and didn't go number 1, if Oopsie Daisy made by me didn't go number 1, he understands that he wouldn't have been able to go with Tractor now to commercial radio and it be acceptable. So that's the beauty of it, and knowing that he's telling that story as well, it's just absolutely amazing. And he's one of my biggest inspirations when it comes to words. Like, he be doing some crazy jump off. I was about to swear, but yeah, he's sick, man.
And he's saying that also Skepta, I spoke to him about a week ago, and he told me about the track Big that you guys done together.
Yeah.
The song that I'm feeling now is the song that you and Chipmunk, Big.
Yeah.
Well, roughly, when did you write those lyrics, and what was, even as self-explanatory, what was your state of mind at the point of writing that song?
I don't know, man. When did I write that song? I wrote that just like summertimes last year. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I've always done music. I've always been around my fans, always been around my supporters. But like, it started to change, you know what I mean? And it was a thing where I wanted to explain to people like what it was like, innit? Because I used to be like in the crowd before I go on stage back in the day. I'd go to my booking, meet the promoter outside, stand in the crowd, chill out. You know what I'm saying? Then go on stage then come back off the stage to the supporters and the fans, kind of mingle. But you know, when you start to do all these other events, they start to wrap you up in cotton wool and that. You know what I'm saying? And you start to lose touch. You know what I'm saying? So I wrote it to let people know, you know, the ins and outs of the game. There's probably other things or more things I didn't say. And I finished writing it, and I showed Chipmunk it one time. He was going to a club one time, and he's listened to it, and he was like, raw. You get me? And obviously he's been more successful as a musician, chart wise and, you know, fame life wise than I have been. But he even felt it, like, raw. Is that how deep you're going, Skepta? He hasn't written a song like that. Do you know what I'm saying? So he was like, yeah, like, can I put a verse on it? But obviously I'm thinking, oh yeah, Mr. Sony, you know gonna try and lodge me, like try and, you know, they try and big up your tune, but they don't really. But like he was on it, you get me, and it was genuine. So, boom, he got on the track. Although I don't like leaks and all that stuff, but the track did leak. But the feedback's been heavy. So, yeah, man, I'm proud of that song, man. That's one of the songs off my album that I'll listen back to in a long time and say, yeah, that was from the heart.
Like for you, because that is like it's probably about as real as it gets.
Yeah, between you know, obviously for me, what it's about now is doing everything from here, man. You know, it's like I know how to make a formula song. Like I studied it, I know how to do it. I got bored of it, man. It's like I want to take a risk. I want to go to radio with that song, yeah, where I think they're not gonna accept it, you know. And then it's like you have to battle to get it on. I want the battle, so it's like with Big Skepta, we was going to a rave, and he was like, "Chip, hear this" on his phone, and I was like, "Give me a verse." He was like, "Yes." He was like, "You know what? Me and Sam were saying we want to put you on it." So when I went into the studio, like the words that were coming out of, you know, my thoughts at the time was just so right for that song. And in the midst of, you know, like Champion leaking, Big leaking, and then the 2011 freestyle that I put out, everyone's seeing the direction that I'm going into, because I feel that, you know, I'm still young, I still want to grow, I still want to experiment, but, you know, in the midst of things, everything I want to do now, it has to be from, like, the bottom of the heart, man, because I feel that, you know, for instance, Champion, I didn't think radio was going to support that song for reasons that are not to do with music, but to do with politics. So now when it's on every single radio station, every single TV channel, that is more important to me than any chart position. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's like -1, you know, for me. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, the country supporting that song shows that as a country we're standing for forgiveness. So that's like bigger than a #1, and it's looking like it's gonna be a big hit as well. So it's like a win-win for me.
Yeah. And not talking too much other artists though, but it seems like you actually are putting yourself in a position where, with the whole thing with the Champion and Chris Brown, as soon as that's been acceptable now, the year ×3 comes out. Yeah. So it's almost showing that you're, like you're saying, going to.
I'm standing next to Chris saying, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
yeah, man. I'm like Champion as a song. Like I haven't had a bad thing said about the song. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's cool, and I feel sometimes that's what it takes. You know, some people said to me like, "Oh, why did you work with Chris Brown?" I just say like, go and ask Lil Wayne why he did. Do you know what I mean? Like, forget about me. In the world of music, I'm doing well in the UK, but there is a bigger world out there. Do you know what I mean? Like Kanye West is on the Deuces remix. Like, don't ask me, ask them, because I'm accessible. Do you know what I mean? But I'll openly say the guy's amazingly talented. Champion is probably my most heartfelt single that I've ever released, and it's had the biggest response from a song that I've ever released. I had like 2.5 million views in a month. Like, I couldn't be happier, man. It's cool.
And saying, I think Dear Family was.
Yeah.
I think Dear Family, that was
heartfelt single.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Dear
yeah.
Family was like, heart on my sleeve, just have it. This is my life. But as a single, you know, it takes. People don't realize the guts and the balls that it takes to go into your label and say, this is what I want to go with, you know, a single where you're basically, you know, it's just so real, and it's just so heartfelt, and the production's still hard, but the hook is still as commercially accessible as it possibly could be. Just trying to find, you know, I spent a lot of time before I actually came back out going around and saying to people, I'm just trying to find that halfway point where it's like my F64 meets Oopsie Daisy meets to try and please everyone, and it's actually happening, man. So for me, it's past where it charts, it's past all of that, it's past saying I won this, or it's just like I just want to feel good, man, and I feel good, so it's cool.
And again, even saying that, like, it just brings up another point, like, do you feel that you get your proper dues? Because like you're saying, like, if everyone has a discerning mind, they know that once you've done your F64, that made F64 what it was. You got the Mobos, unsigned, you got the Mobos
unsigned,
twice, and you know, you got your GCSE, your A-levels, you know, you charted, you made music. You came from a scene that wasn't creating songs to fit radio, and you done it.
Yeah.
Still being 20, you know, when you go home and think, you know, aside of the money, aside from being recognised, do you feel that you have...
I get the
like,
respect. honestly, not that I couldn't care less, but I feel that the second people have nothing to say about me, that's when I'm going to be worrying. You know, whether it be good, whether it be bad, whether you dislike me, whether you like me, whether you're a fan, whether you're a hater that's turning into a fan, because that's what's happened in the past couple months from the music that I've released. Like, the second people have nothing to say about me, I always say, like, the second someone doesn't want to make a diss track about me, that's when I'm going to be thinking, Chip, you're doing something wrong. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like through everyone's journey, you're going to have people that, you know, just want to say something. So it's like, the second you let that start to affect you, that's the second you stop pleasing your fans and you're trying to please people that just don't even want to like you. Like, why am I going to do that? It's like, it's just wrong, man.
So with the
Yeah.
right, you've got Kerry Hilson,
Yeah.
and the bad man himself, Mavado,
Yeah.
and a few others, and selecting those. Tell me, how does it work out? You know, do you reach out to them? Do they reach out to you? You know, what was your selection process for picking those artists?
You know, Mavado was someone that from the beginning I've said that I need to do a song with Mavado. I just think, how can every song be a banger? You know what I mean? So it's like, okay. There was a point where, you know, I reached out to a lot of UK artists to work on my album, yeah, and I'll openly say they all said no. Like, one way or another, they all said no. And I kind of understand the reason why is, like, people, it's not a bad thing to use each other. That's the first thing I would say. But it's like, people gravitate to what's new. You know, as soon as your new guy buzz wears off, that's when it's time for your music to do the talking. You know what I mean? You're not new. You're not the new thing anymore. There's no gas. It's not like, have you heard so-and-so, he's sick. It's like, it's just your music. So I'm not going to talk about the people who said no, but there was a lot of people that said no. You know what I mean? So it's like, it left me in a place where I was like, you know, obviously, like, people like Wretch is on my album. And, you know, people like Wretch and Skepta, we're going to be working with each other until the day we die. We all live like 10 minutes up the road from each other. So it's like, it left me in a place where I felt like, okay, cool. I don't know, maybe it's because of competition reasons, or maybe, you know, people, I don't want to change my image. I can't, maybe I'm not fitting certain criterias. Chip, alright, cool, at home, what do you listen to? What are you into? And you know who actually sat me down? It was Semtex. And he was like, I was playing in my new record, and he was like, this is sick, man. I had one tune called, like, I had loads of tunes, but for instance, I had a tune called Follow My Lead, and he was like, go and get Justin Timberlake on this. I was like, huh? He was like, what do you mean, man? You're like a #1 artist in the UK. Like, you got the power to go and get who you want on your record. And I was like, he was like, you like Chris Brown, right? I was like, yeah, man. He was like, look at Deuces, that's ringing off crazy. Go and get him, man. I'm like, Sam Tex is telling me go and get Chris Brown on my album. I'm like, all right, Sam, you gonna phone him? You know what I mean? It's like, he was like, you like Trey songs, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, think of it, go and get them, man. You know what I mean? It's like, your second album is what's either gonna cement you as an artist or let people walk all over you as an artist. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna make this cement me, man. Went back to my studio with my producer Harmony, who's from the UK but lives in LA now. And we was like, let's turn these songs into events, man. You know what I mean? Did Champion. And for me, it was about having the right song for the right artist as well. So there isn't a singer in the world, dead or alive, that I would put on Champion over Chris Brown. You know what I mean? So that happened. And then how it is over there is like, everyone's kind of affiliated or comes around. So people was coming into the studio and just hearing my songs and saying like, we want to be a part of this. And then when they heard it's me, and then obviously like, ringing bells in the UK, they was on it. So Kerry Hilson came through. You know, the Trey song we sent to him. He loved it. You know, the song that Trey Songs is on was the one that Semtex heard and said that I should holler at Chris Brown for. But I thought, like, if I want to do something with Chris, I want to capture the emotion of what's going on in my life and his right now. So Trey Songs, Mavado, the Mavado tune, Dread, I was just waiting for that one came last. Dready made the beat. I was like, this is it. So we hit out his management. It was like, yo, let's do it, back and forth over the internet. And then when he came here to do his promo, and I can't remember what country I was in, but I wasn't in the country. But I'm going to Jamaica next month to shoot the video with him. So everything just kind of just fell into place. And it's like, my whole thing is that, you know, when you see Champion on the telly and you see me and Chris Brown, it just looks normal. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm happy for. I couldn't really care. Not that I couldn't care less. I don't want people to think I don't care about my career, but it's like, if I had said 3 years ago that I was gonna have a song with Chris Brown, people would have said, just keep dreaming. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm just happy that I speak like I'm old, but I'm not really. But you know, the 13, 14-year-old kids now coming up, they can look at me and see like, wow, when I'm 20, it could just be something completely, just a whole next thing. You know what I mean? So, and then you get Skepta introduced me to Diddy, and then from there I've got that connect, and it's like there's just so many connects. And with me, when I meet all these artists and we talk and what's going on in the UK, I don't really mention myself because I'm not the only thing what's going on in the UK. So they don't ask me what's going on with Chipmunk, they say what's going on in the UK. So I would say, you know, check out Tiny. He's the hottest new one. Absolutely disturbing London. Check out Skepta. He's the symbol of how far you can take this grime thing. I'll say check out Wretch. He's like your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. What he does with words is the next thing. And you know, when you finish painting the picture, you know, all these people are people that came before me and kind of helped me. So check me out after that. So that's where my head's at. It's good.
But you know, basically now, you know, where you are now today at your age. Chipmunk at 20 in 2011, is that the peak of where people can be now in terms of an artist? I mean, as of today, you know, like how Dizzy was.
At age 20.
At age, you know, Dizzy when he done it, that's as high as it can go.
Damn.
When you had the others, you know, so solid at that point. Do you reckon you're now
the pinnacle of what you can do at age 20
now
in
today,
the UK, coming from the underground scene?
Yeah.
You know, I'll just leave that for people to decide, because the second I say yes, it's gonna come across as arrogance, not confidence. But you just check out the other artists that are my age and, you know, came from the same scene as me, and just see what they're up to, see what I'm up to. You know, not that there's, I think what separates me is drive. I feel that, you know, like, I think honestly talent accounts for 20% of how far you can go in this country anyway. Everything else is, you know, where your business brings that, and the team you got behind you as well. And I'll openly say I had a good team. I've got a very good team behind me, but where it's a bunch of people. I will openly say it's a bunch of people that came from the streets and learned the same way I did when we got together and started. None of us knew a damn thing. There isn't someone that's, you know, a hierarchy in this place or that place that's helping me out. It's just a bunch of people that actually came from the streets and studied music and wanted to go for it. So age 20, I don't know it's like, it feels good, and I don't want it to be a thing of look at what Chipmunk's doing at his age. I want it to be a thing of look at what you could do at my age. Yeah.
I think in your other interview you said, you know, people are investing their money,
yeah,
into you. So
how do you persuade a label to go with what you believe in? You just gotta put your foot down, man. It's like, you got different people have different professions. You know what I'm saying? I feel that a problem that record labels are now having is that why there's such a crisis in the UK. I'm not gonna go naming labels that are crumbling, but it's like, why there's such a crisis, you got people trying to take on professions that are not theirs. Do you know what I'm saying? The artist's profession is to make the music, and that's why you took them on in the first place. Your profession is to market it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, there's always room for, you know, agreement, debating, and even disagreeing, but you have to remember whose profession is whose. So the second that you can start getting into problems is when, you know, someone whose profession is not making the music, you let influence you making your music, and then when it goes wrong, they'll just drop you. You know what I mean? It's like, it's on to the next one. You have to remember it's just business. So it's like, let them make what you want to make, and let them market it the way that is their craft to market it. Give them your input on how you want the public to perceive you, and then let them go from there. You know, now you got, you know, with these 360 deals, you got, you know, labels trying to have input on your live show. That's not their profession, you know what I mean? So what they're going to be telling you, the direction to go with your live show, is what they want to see as a fan of music. But then they're not bearing in mind your audience, you know what I mean? That's where I think the problems are kind of happening. But you just got to be, you know, strong in what you believe in, and you got to know your audience and your fan base and try and connect with it. I feel that, for instance, if you're a dude and, you know, your fan base appears to be females, don't try and fight it, work with it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, accept what your fan base is. I feel that is a problem that a lot of artists have. They spend their time trying to please an audience that is not theirs. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, okay, cool, Chipmunk's fan base is mostly girls. I'm going to try and keep them happy then, do you know what I mean? And meanwhile, try and grab everything else that comes around that, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I want dudes to be into my music, so I'm going to try and pull them in as well. I'm not going to spend my time neglecting who's into me. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you get MC that's not gangster, but you're trying to make gangster music. They're never going to be into you. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you're not doing what these people on the streets are actually doing, but you want to make the music to please them. London's a small place. Someone will catch you and F you up and you get caught out. Do you know what I mean? Just don't do it. Spend time trying to please who is actually into your music. I think that's a key part of, you know, being an artist, just accepting your fan base and trying to work with it.
Okay. So now, Champion.
Yeah.
Tell people why they should get Champion and what personally it means to you to be able to put this out as your single.
Buy Champion because one, you know, I would appreciate it. Chris Brown would appreciate it. Two, because you know it's a heartfelt single, and no matter where it charts, the push that this song has had, you know, like I'll be at home and see it on 4 different music channels at the same time. I got a tweet this morning from Mr. Jam saying he heard it on 3 different radio stations coming into London. The push that this has had, and knowing that it's me featuring Chris Brown as, you know, a Team UK representative is like, it shows that as a country that we're openly standing for forgiveness, and that's more important than the chart position itself. And knowing that should make people want to go and buy it, man. So yeah, Champion.